is Monica Brandt. Is anyone familiar with Monica Brandt? She, like, through the 90s, she was like the #1 person. She was on every cover of every fitness magazine. And I was able to hear her speak last year at one of the shows that I did. It was actually me and her on stage. She's presenting with my pro card. But one thing that she talked about, you know, she was talking in relation to like any weight loss program or something that you put yourself into, like a competition. You said your why. Your why has to be strong enough. If your why is to get on stage and get a trophy, that's weak, and it's not going to keep you doing this and pushing forward every single day. When the food gets boring, when your days get stressful, if your why is not strong enough, it's easy to throw in the towel. So I want you to just think about, you know, what is your why, and is it going to keep you and push you through when it gets boring, when maybe you don't necessarily feel like it today. Your why has to be strong enough. Goals, meaningful goals say something about who we are. It's something that we can work towards. It's going to say, you know, I accomplished this, and it says something that I have self-control, that I can push through anything. It says something about us, not just a number on the scale. If we want to overcome self-sabotage, we have to acknowledge that there's something in our current belief system that's flawed. Something's wrong. If we're self-sabotaging, something that we believe is wrong. So what are belief systems? It's basically what we truly believe, whether we're conscious of it or not. For an example, if you're rebellious or stubborn, you really, truly desire to have control over your eating, but the second you lose control, all of a sudden, the program doesn't work, I don't like it, I'm going off. The program isn't the problem. It's you are lacking control, and when you can't control the program or your eating, that's when you lash out. Sometimes we don't want to admit to ourselves what our belief systems are. In our conscious mind, we might say, I really want to lose weight, but deep down inside, we don't think we can do it. We're not sure this is really something that we can do. So we don't really admit to ourselves that I don't even have this in me to do, but I've convinced myself I want it. Our belief systems are so ingrained in us that they're automatic. We don't think about them, we just react without taking any thought towards it. It just happens. And if we look at our past patterns of behavior, we can kind of see and dig out where our belief systems are. So just starting to become aware of your belief systems, think of how you react in the face of adversity. So let's take the bad day. I've had a bad day. A successful belief system is, I've had a bad day, but you know what? I was down 2 pounds. I'm still excited. I'm going to go home, stay on track, eat what I had planned, and tomorrow's a new day. To me, that says it's optimistic. Even though you had a bad day, it has nothing to do with what you put in your mouth. You're self-regulated. You say, you know, I can regulate my emotions about work, but separate that from how I'm going to behave. You make a rational decision. If I go out and eat whatever I want right now, tomorrow I'm going to feel terrible. It's just going to compound my stress and my anxiety. You're going to persevere through that. You know, I had a bad day, but I'm still going to go towards my goal. And it shows me discipline and confidence.
Sorry. I'm right. I didn't know you was having a meeting.
Yeah.
I just didn't the paper.
They're closed.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Or are you someone that has a bad day and says, you know what, forget it, I'm going to go home and I got to go and have monocles and breadsticks and 3 glasses of wine, and I don't care about the program. To me, that is self-sabotaging, and it's pessimistic. It's impulsive. I mean, you're reacting without thinking about it. It's reactive, and you're complacent. I mean, you're saying, I'm not willing to work towards something. I'm fine at this weight. I'm going to do what I want to do. And those are self-sabotaging behaviors. So look at that and see if there's anything in there that you can relate to. And you probably have a combination of both. But how you react in any situation, it doesn't have to relate to food. Are you snippy at people? When someone does something you don't like, are you snippy with them? Or do you regulate that? So in order to change your belief system, and this also goes into goals, think about someone that you look at who is successful and has self-regulation. You know, what do they possess, and where, how, you always want to try to work to be you have someone that you're working to, that you look up to. This is someone I want to be like. I know if anyone here has worked with Corey, I mean, she is just very calm, very regulated, very controlled, and she has struggles. She has obstacles. I have obstacles. And I've sat in consultations with clients, and they've said, well, you've never had to struggle with your weight. And I'm like, you wouldn't believe how much we've had to struggle with our weight and what we've done. We've had obstacles. We have 2 little kids at home. We run 2 businesses. We have challenges to our plan, and it's just how we approach them is a little bit differently. The mindset that you need to have is that you're invincible, that no matter what happens, this is so important to me, I'm going to find a way around it. If I end up at Panera, I'm going to find a way to find something that fits my macros. If it doesn't, I'll eat later. I'm not going to die if I don't have the you pick 2 chips. I'll use an obstacle. I'll use that obstacle as an option to learn and to grow. So maybe I didn't necessarily make a good choice and I logged it later. Ooh, well, next time I know I'm going to use that as an opportunity instead of just throwing in the towel and saying, well, I screwed up at Panera, my whole day's off. And the attitude of nothing, there's nothing that can keep me from this goal. And I truly believe if you have that mindset, there really is nothing that can stand in the way of reaching the goal that you want, if your goal is something solid. So are your belief systems causing you to shoot yourself in the foot? With self-sabotage, we talk about black and white thinking. Something external happens and you make a conscious choice. The subconscious emotions and fears are then just left out of it. You give me an obstacle.
Travel.
Travel. I have to travel, so I am just going to eat whatever they have at the restaurants. I'm not taking in anything else. Ah, what happened there?
I have no clue. I didn't touch anything.
In order to stop self-sabotage, what we have to do is pause and become aware of what is driving that. So something, I gotta go travel. My belief system is every other time I've traveled, I've completely gone off my diet. There's no way that I'm gonna stay on track. But we're gonna stop and go, okay, every other time I've done it, I'm aware that that's why I wanna act this way. We think about old patterns and then we make a choice, you know. You can travel. I'm working with somebody right now who's traveling next week, and we're making out, you know, it's a huge obstacle for her, and we're working through this. But she stopped, and I'm making her stop and go, okay, what can we do to make it successful for you so that you don't sabotage yourself? So we had a bad day. Our subconscious is telling us, you know, just throw in the towel. But we're going to stop and say, you know, that's self-defeating if I go home and eat the bag of chips. Tomorrow I'm going to feel bad. I'm going to have more anxiety. The scale's going to be up. I'm going to worry about what Kristen's going to say all day long. Or I can go home, make a rational choice, settle myself down, and usually at that point, when you've made the good decision, you feel good. And you feel good the next day when you see the scale. So we talked about HALT last time, and this is just a trick for being mindful. When we're mindful, we stop to think about our behavior before we do something. So when we talked about this over the holidays, when the pumpkin pie's sitting there, am I truly hungry? Am I physically hungry? Anytime. I can have this food anytime. I can have pumpkin pie in March, I can have it in July, I can have it this weekend. Why do I need to eat it right now? List the facts. Pumpkin pie has X carbs, X fat, and X protein. I'm already over my goals for the day. Looking at the food objectively, it puts it in different terms rather than looking at the pumpkin pie emotionally, that you have to have it and getting carried away. And then tomorrow, how am I going to feel tomorrow? How am I going to feel when I wake up and the scale's up 2 pounds, and then it's not a big deal, we can get it off, but there's an emotional component to that when you see, you know you went over your numbers, and then you see the scale move up. So when you think about that ahead of time, when you think before you react, a lot of times you can say, you know, it really isn't worth all the extra stress it's going to cause me. So just like children, we need to be taught delayed gratification, emotional management, and follow through. So the other night was Valentine's Day, and my kids had tons of sugar, tons of it, and my 5-year-old came home and he wanted to eat a Valentine donut and play on my iPad. And he left all of his trucks out downstairs. I said, no, you need to go pick up your trucks, you can have a donut in the morning. And what did he do? He's all sugared up. I want a Valentine donut now. But I made him pick up his toys, he got to play on the iPad, the next morning he had his donut. I delayed his gratification. He did not need, he had plenty of sugar that day. He did not need it. He's going to have to learn a little bit of emotional management. And he got to play on the iPad once he got himself settled down and controlled. And then I followed through and he followed through on his end. You know, that sounds a lot like some of the people who want to take their relaxed meal when it's not time. And I say, you know, you really probably shouldn't. And they kind of stomp around and get kind of mad at me too, just like my 5-year-old. Sometimes they follow through and not. But delayed gratification is a huge thing. Saving things for your relaxed meal, not having to have it right now. And that's something that you learn over time. And but it's something that we teach our children. It's very important. I don't let my kids have candy and junk whenever they want. And you shouldn't. I don't allow it for myself. You shouldn't allow it for yourself either. Are you self-sabotaging and don't even realize it? Think of the times that you've been set back. Do you feel there are a large number of obstacles? I mean, I get some clients that send me, they have an obstacle every single week. This week I travel. This week my family's coming. This week I had to go to this restaurant. This weekend my friends had a birthday party. There's an obstacle every single week. And you know, we talk about, you can do all of those things. You can work through them. You can be on this program and eat everything that you want. But if you're looking at them that you can't stay on the program because of those obstacles, that's a way of self-sabotaging. And there's something driving you towards that. And if your setbacks could have been avoided by making a different choice, then that was a self-sabotaging behavior. So these are just some questions to ask yourself. You know, is my why strong enough to keep me going, to keep me from jumping ship when the obstacles arise? Or when it gets boring, or when you don't feel like it. Is your why strong enough? What traits do you truly desire? Is it self-control, self-regulation, being more optimistic? And I want you, everyone in here, we have so many successful people that are our clients. You've been invincible in the past. I mean, I know going through chiropractic school, I had to be invincible. I mean, there was no obstacle. I had no choice. I had a million student loans out there. So I know in my past, that was a time when I remember being completely invincible. And I know you guys have all had a goal where you've been invincible. Nothing was going to stop you. I want you to remember what that mindset felt like and apply it to weight loss. And then ask yourself, what might be holding me back? Is it that I truly fear failing, or that I just desire control? And just think about those things. If you need more, I mean, if you really feel like there's something emotionally holding you back, or something that you maybe are looking at all these things and you're like, I really don't know. I know there's something, I just can't dig it out myself. The Diet Doc has the Mental Edge program. It's run by Corey Probst. It's all done over the phone, but she's a licensed counselor, and she's getting her PhD in psychology. And Kim has worked with her, I've worked with her. If there's anything and you feel like this is an issue for you, you're invested in this program. You know, we're like a Diet Doc family. If this can seal a deal for you, I talk about her every single time because the work she does is just great. And did anyone see the Alpha? Does anyone have a copy of the Alpha? Hold it up.